Welcome back to Rent's League. I'm Rent, and today we have a GLM 4.6. I know that we're looking at 4.5, but we're going to be running some tests with it, right? We're going to be running some stories. It is a very streamlined and simplified model for all the newcomers coming in, so hopefully it should make it a little bit easier to explain and kind of get a flow going. Now then, what do I mean by simplified model, just in case you're wondering? I mean, the settings are kind of bare. Like, look at this. We've got maybe 4 or 5 different things to change. You know, the randomness and the output length are always here, but besides that, there's barely any samplers compared to basically any other model. There's also no presets. I mean, just look at the difference here. This is Llama 3. Those ones are some from me. These ones are the base ones. And then you look at the samplers list and it gets really complex, right? So we won't be having to go over any of that today, which is why I think it's just going to be a nice simple model that should be easy to set up. And so far, it hasn't been too bad to test. I hope to answer one big main question that everyone always asks. How do you write in Novelai? How does it work? What is it like? I'm going to give examples. I'm going to try and make sure that it is as informative as possible to the writing experience so that you can kind of look at this and know what you're getting into, especially with the new model instead of the old ones, right? I'm going to take you through the 4 different steps that I like to do to optimize any Novelai story that I really get into. And also, we're going to work backwards just in case you have an outline already ready. We'll go both ways and see how you can reintegrate it back into Novelai. I like to build up a story, but if you do have one already, then I'll talk about that. So let's start with something really simple, which is just finding inspiration. What are your ideas already? We're going to have to lay out something most of the time just to get the ball rolling. Like, inspiration can come from just about anything, right? This can be reference images, image gen, lore, the regular arts, anything that you want to take an idea from, right? And you just sort of put it into words and then, you know, move on and try and build onto it, right? So let's just set up a simple little idea story. So now to start off is all I'm going to do is set up a simple memory scenario. This will just give it a basic overview of what we're going to be doing, you know, sort of get the ball rolling, point us in a general direction. Along with this, I'm just going to add a title, but that is a little less important. At this point, we can be very, very loose with our idea and our setting and our plot. The more you put here, the more easier it's going to be to get the ball rolling, but don't be intimidated by an empty story. You know, it's not going to be the worst experience in the world, even if you don't have a base prompt to start off with. Speaking of prompts, the starter prompt, or the first prompt that you make, is going to be kind of the end of the first step here. It's one of the most important things that you can do to kind of ensure that your story goes smoothly. It's kind of like, how do you go from thinking about an idea to actually getting into motion, right? So these first few steps are going to kind of set the pace of, you know, where you're going to be going in at. So let's just think up an idea of how to enter this story. Now then, luckily enough, I was working on this story beforehand, so I kind of know where I wanted to go with it. But if you don't have any ideas yet, you can also look around, look at some character cards, experiment, and try and find what's really going to work for you. Now then, typically I don't really like long generations. This is only one generation. But you'll notice that the GLM 4.6 has a 1024 default setting on its output. So if you like, you know, pressing a button and getting a pretty good chunk of story, then this is going to be perfectly fine for you. I prefer to have it around 500 maybe, just to get little snippets. It also can help kind of restrain it and make sure it doesn't go too far without a little moderation, you know what I'm saying? It seems like it has a lot higher limit than the others as well, stopping at 4,000, while Llama 3 Erato only has around 1,000, so like triple. And of course, if you haven't already and you really like the content, drop a subscribe, drop a like, and comment down below what other kind of guides or things you want to see about Novelai. Now then, let's move on to our next step. Considering I don't want to show you guys like every single generation and really bog down it with a bunch of, you know, time lapses and whatnot, I'll just show you a little bit about the process. The next step is kind of gathering information while we kind of cook the story, right? We're going to lead it on with some of these short little sentences. You'll notice that I often just leave I leave it vaguely open, not with punctuation or anything. I leave it able to continue and follow through. And just with the suggestions here that I add in with little bits of lore and stuff, it'll slowly piece together what I'm trying to point at, right? Like before this, we haven't even mentioned druids, right? but that slowly tempers it more towards a fantasy style story where vampires and, you know, druids and centaurs and all that things exist instead of more of a boss fight with a vampire in Elden Ring, right? It kind of gives it more knowledge, right? That's what we're going to try and work towards, right? Just giving this thing as much knowledge as we can spare it, setting the scene, setting up as much as we can to make sure that, because it's a co-writer, it writes alongside you, you know? But a co-writer, imagine your buddy, if he was writing with you, he wouldn't know what's in your mind. You have to tell him. You have to kind of give him some hints. And that's exactly what this is. That's exactly how it works. So leading it is one of the best ways to get it to go. And these are raw generations, so far we're not doing too much to it to change anything. Now, as you can probably see just by, you know, the story so far, the scenario, and they have done some minor tweaks to the memory and author's note section over here. So I think they're very powerful tools, especially with this model right now. I think it's probably one of the most effective ways to interact with it. As you go along from here on, you're just going to want to add on things that you learned about the character, about the scenario, and, you know, just build up, right? That is basically what is going to be, you know, your story. You know, you're going to be slowly building up everything that you know about these guys. I like to make characters. I like to make settings for these guys. I like to make like a whole interconnected web of things, and then just, you know, have it to play around with, basically test ideas in this kind of scenario, right? So that's what I'll do most of the time. For instance, it's now been revealed that the vampire, he's having a problem because his wife has been crystallized by some very powerful people, and we might know some magic that can help him as we, you know, come in and try and resolve this in a way that can end without everything being drained of life in the area and whatnot. He's clearly trying to take the life of other things and put it towards a, you know, reviving his crystalline wife, right? So I would put that in the memory. I would continue the scenario, and I will do that right now. So now, I don't know if I go over it very much, but they have overhauled both the memory and the author's note. And the author's note, though I don't go over it very much in this one, is a very powerful tool, especially for setting things like the tone and the setting. And, well, I mean, very, very strong, though. It is very strong. Be careful with it, but it should be a very powerful tool if you know how to use it. So now, like I said, I like to make characters and things out of these little stories. So once we have enough here to really work with and whatnot, and we have a little bit of a grasp of like a character's dynamics, we can move on to step 3. I'm going to start step 3 with a little tip to help you, because I see some people in the Reddit are seeing that you can't have generations in the lore book happen at anything above, like, what is it, Utropy, or is it still on Kyra, I think? So to get around that, or let's format it right here. So now, a quick little tip to kind of get some generations or just some ideas of your character out and about, right? Now, I usually have at least one thing in the lore book that kind of sets a precedent for what this should be. Right now, our lore book is completely empty, so it gave us a very simple name, type, description, very short, very sweet. Now these will work, these are beautiful, right? And also they use the full power of the GLM 4.6 model, and you know, they give a pretty good description of what we have here, right? And also this is a very short thing so far. It's not going off a lot of data, but I have had other stories where I've kind of set a precedent with the formatting of it, and it is done, you know, type, race, character, weapons, clothing, you know, all that good stuff, and it kind of just compiles it nice and orderly for you, and it's very good at understanding that, like, once you put these 4 things, even right now, whenever we have nothing to say that is the formula that should happen afterwards, it kind of went a little crazy and kind of went, you know, kept specifying other things as well. That's perfectly fine. This is just a tip if you want to have GLM do some work for you. And I'm sure that this works with many different things, just like starting a new chapter. Probably if I were to hit this and go, well, I'll end it on like a good period. And then if I were to do this, as you can see, it also works with chapter changes, you know, an asterisk and a little, you know, open bracket will change either the scene or a chapter, you know. It handles these things way, way better than any other model so far. Even though they say that it's not really been fine-tuned to the ways of Novelai, it picks up on it very, very quickly, is what I'm noticing so far. Now then, since we already kind of got a nice little formatted form that we can use here, the only thing you would need to do is just import those in, add anything extra that you want, any classifications, right? It doesn't just have to be type. This can be well, I was going to say artifact, but it already says that. So, but it's all you need to do is specify the key now. So you just move that down here, put in the name so that it will activate whenever these things are brought up. Now then, this thing has an amazing memory, so I can imagine that it can even format things that are, or characters that have long since been gone away, right? Use that to your advantage, but don't just rely on the raw context power to keep these characters in there if you really like them, right? Specify them here in the lore book so that they can come back and make an actual, so that they can kind of stay in character a little bit. It's going to forget some things, even if it is perfect, right? And you can put a lot of things in the lore book. I'm talking your setting, your flipping characters, your weapons, equipment, anything that you want more details on or you want your co-writer to know about, right? This is basically where you say, okay, this is a journal. I'm keeping a journal of everything that is going on, right, in this story. Here you go, hold this, right? The memory is just like an instant recap. It's like, okay, this is what we're doing right now. This is the scene. Let's get into this. The author's note, I might have already mentioned it a little bit, but I haven't yet. But it should be just like a very strong, okay, this is overarching detail, right? But let's get into one more tool that we can add on to here for step 3. One more tool is the instruct, which is probably one of the strongest ways to influence the AI, right? One, it is an instruct model, just based off the machine, right? So it is a very powerful thing I've found out so far. Basically, curly bracket, open, right? And then bada bing, bada boom. You put in whatever you want to happen in the next scene. That's how I use it most of the time. I'm sure that there's plenty of different ways to do it. You can probably specify not just future events, past events, clarifications. You get the gist. Very strong. One thing that I really like about this model, by the way, is the way that it interacts with instructs. Sometimes, at least on the last model, I'll say for her, that it was a very strong thing. It was like a little too strong sometimes. It wouldn't take a minute to do it. It would almost instantly, it would put it in like it was an action in the text adventure mode, right? Which isn't always what you want. This at least allows it to breathe, right? Like it doesn't immediately get into it, but it knows, it keeps track of it, and then it says, okay, your intent is going to be to pat him on the back, whatever that may be. And then eventually we get there. It takes like a paragraph or two, right? You know what I'm saying? Which I love. I love that it gives it a little breathing room. It's not instantaneous. It feels a lot more natural than just being like, oh, you pat him on the back, and then it has to just kind of like scramble to be like, what did you do that for? Ooh, I don't know. But like I said, with this tool, you have so many creative ways to interact, right? You can also take control of the other characters, change the scene, change anything that you really like. It's just a very strong, very easy way to change something. It's not as complicated as like specifying it in an author's note, I feel like, or like as overarching or intimidating, I guess. It feels kind of just like, tinkering a little bit or kind of like pulling some strings, you know what I mean? It's very, very easy thing to get into. Anyway, I think I might have skipped going over this, but there used to be a lot more conditions here, some things that you could change in here. This is another thing that they've kind of taken away and changed. There used to be like 3 categories up here. And for the sake of simplicity, I think the lore book and this GLM model has been working fantastically. Everything has been following the rulebook or the lore book pretty precisely, just like the memory. It's been doing great. I think they've finally just kind of been like reinforcing these 3 simple things, right? And it's going to keep it nice and simplified. Now then, on to step number 4. I know that we're moving kind of quickly here, but there's also not much to this. This has been a short and sweet guide more than a very detailed guide, right? I'm not going to walk through completely making a full, novel or something, but I will kind of point you in the correct directions. Eventually, your story is going to get bigger. You're going to have, you've basically now fleshed out an idea. You've gone from an idea to a fleshed out few characters, few settings, few arcs at this point, right? That is the kind of the last goal. You now have some ideas of what some arcs are going to be for your characters, and now you can kind of format them, organize them into an actual story. And with the help of a little bit of humanness, or, just some very careful editing and whatnot on Novelai, whichever one floats your boat. I prefer a little bit of human touch to the things that I'm writing, but it should be able to move on to a different site or be published or whatever if you've taken care and constructed fully, you know, everything, every aspect is to your liking, right? So now, like I said in the beginning, I'm also going to kind of tell you the reverse option, right? You start with a story, right? You start with what I imagine, because I've had comments like this before. Maybe I'll show them on screen, but I've had comments being like, okay, I have like arcs, I have chapters, I have a full thing written out of what these characters are going to be, what they're going to do, right? Can I use Novelai to get this idea out there? And in this case, where we fleshed out an idea, we're going to do the reverse, okay? We're going to take we're going to kind of do the same thing, but this one's going to be a much more structured idea. Basically, you're going to flesh out that story now. What I imagine is most of them have very vaguely fitting together story beats that they want to happen. They want a betrayal. They want people turning evil, right? Now you're just going to put this in here and flesh everything out, right? You're going to get to know the characters a little bit. You're going to get to know, everything and kind of set it in stone and be much more organized with it, right? But that is basically my little starter guide here for Novelai, the pretty much new overhaul version of it. It's pretty neat. I'm not gonna lie, it's very strong. GLM 4.6 is so far it's so much better. It's so much better than like any other model. Not to discredit them or anything, but it is just, a league of its own, even without the fine tune. And I'll say that the only thing is, I do notice a lot of people complaining about GPT-isms or some very rough phrasings or whatnot, or some repetitions and whatnot, things that, if you don't manage them, this is why I kind of keep my my output at around 500 so that I can manage them and keep them in check, right? It's a lot harder for it to, at least for me, it still works beautifully. Fine tune will probably help cut out some of those. But yeah, I'm just very much loving it so far. I hope you all are enjoying it, and don't forget, once more, I'm gonna say drop a like, drop a comment down below if you want me to tell you anything more about this thing. And that has been Rent's League. I'm Rent, and I'm out.